everybody, this video is going to be a brief demo and explanation of how to do a forward roll and a back roll. So in a lot of our classes here at Pole Fit, whether you are in floor flow or polography or sexy stilettos, tantalizing tees, contemporary, a lot of our classes use rolls. And there's a lot of different variations of rolls. In polography this morning, I demonstrated a normal back roll or an exotic roll, a half fish flop, and a full fish flop. So there are a lot of different ways that you can roll. I'll demo the fish flop at the end, but this video is mainly for those of you who are just learning rolls and you need to remember how to get into it, how to start it, a couple of main points to make sure you're not flopping over and we're actually getting the full roll. So if that sounds good to you, keep on watching. We're gonna start with our forward roll, which looks like this. Okay. It's a very basic forward roll. So with this one, there are a couple of different ways to start it. If you are just beginning and you need some extra momentum to help get your hips up and over for the roll, I would recommend you start sitting up like this so that you can actually lean and roll into it with some momentum. So whenever you are doing a roll, whether it's a forward roll or a backwards roll, you need to make sure that you're tilting your head to the side. So that way you are rolling over your shoulder and you're not going to injure your neck, okay? Make sure no matter what side you're rolling over, no matter what roll you're doing, that we're tilting our head so we're rolling over our shoulder and we're not rolling over our head and our neck, okay? So we don't want it to look like that, okay? That's more of a somersault. We want it to be a nice roll, and we also don't want to put any of that body weight or pressure on your neck, okay? So, actually I'm gonna do it going the other way so you can see my arms because I roll from my right shoulder. So I'm up here. Whenever you are going into the roll, you wanna make sure that you have your hands ready mentally, okay? So I'm gonna roll over my right shoulder. So I'm gonna tilt my head to the left, opening that right shoulder. Whichever shoulder you're rolling over, same arm goes out. So if I'm rolling on the right shoulder, my right arm is out. I'm gonna have my left hand ready in a little window, little serving tray hand here. You won't start all of your rolls like this every time, but just to learn it, kind of be here for now, okay? So when you go, you're going to lean forward, keep that head tilted, and I'm going to push my feet into the floor to help get my hips up. So I'm turning, leaning forward, putting my head, side of my head on the ground, like this, okay? This is the position you want to be in before you start your forward roll, okay? So I'm starting, I'm putting my head on the ground to the side, I'm pushing my feet into the floor to get my butt up, then I tuck my head, bring the hips over, and roll, okay? That's the slow-mo version. So to do a little bit quicker, if you need more momentum, if getting the hips up is what is hard for you, start up here, do it a little quicker, head out to the side, I'm tucking, going, push, roll. And that is going to give you more momentum to get up and over. The more that you practice it, the more that you'll be able to do it just from sitting, and you'll be able to lift the legs and get the hips up over your head without the momentum, okay? So, again, with the momentum, starting up here, we're going into it, have that hand out, arm out, hand ready. Tucking the chin, tilting the head to the side, lean, push, roll, okay? If you are rolling to the side instead of rolling straight over, just make sure you're using this arm. If you're not using this arm, we kind of fall over to the side and our butt doesn't go up and over our shoulders, right? So keep this arm out, push it into the floor, and that will help you roll over and be in more of a straight line. You might curve a little bit like I just did, but that's normal, okay? So that is your front roll. When you feel more comfortable with your front roll and you don't need all of that momentum, what you'll be able to do is come here with the head down, arms out. Be able to push the feet into the floor, keep your butt up. You want to see how my butt is up over my shoulders right now? Then when I tuck in my head, I push and I roll them. So that's what it'll look like when you get a little bit more comfortable with it. And in class, they might have something before that or after that tie into it, but that is generally speaking your forward roll. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, reply with a video if you have any questions and you need help figuring out what's going on. Now we'll go on to back roll. So the easiest way to do a back roll, the first option is going to be your basic exotic roll, which looks like this. And again, you can land on your knees, you can land on one knee, you can land with both legs out, totally up to you. With this one, the same principles from your front roll apply to your back roll. Hands are still the same way. I'm gonna roll over my right shoulder just to stay consistent, so I've got my right arm out. My left arm's over here, ready with that serving tray hand to make a window, and I'm tilting my head to the side, okay? When I'm leaning back, we're gonna go backwards now because this is back roll. I'm leaning back. You wanna have your legs out in front of you, sorry. When you lean back, my legs are gonna go up over this way, over my right shoulder, okay? So I'm leaning back, got my butt up, I have my head tilted, this hand kind of reached back for the floor, and then my feet touch down, and I roll up, okay? So I'll show you that one again. Have the hands ready. This hand is going to grab the floor like this, kind of reaching behind you, so as you roll, it will touch the floor. So remember, turn your head to the side, lean back, get the hips up and over. And that was how you would land on the knees if you were doing it that way, okay? Biggest tip with this one, keep the hand out so we don't do this. And fall onto the side. Okay, having that hand out to the side is really going to help. And make sure you get your butt up, okay? You aren't gonna roll if you do this, because my butt is still on the floor. So, practice getting your hips up there. And then putting your feet down and completing that roll, okay? If you are doing it barefoot, you might land like this on the toes for now. That's okay. When you are doing it with heels, or if you are at home and you're wearing socks or something, you can land on the top of your feet, make it look a little nicer. And then slide down. If you land on your feet like that for right now, that's okay. One of the things that you can practice, if when you are doing your back roll, if the problem area is getting the hips up there, like you just can't get your butt up in the air off the floor, practice a pose called candlestick. Candlestick is this. Okay? With candlestick, you want to roll back, get the hips up, really press the back of your arms and elbows into the floor, and then hold on to your hips. And you want to squeeze your core to work on lifting. Now you won't need this lift for your back roll. We're just gonna be here, but practice both of them. Practice getting to here, and also practice this. Both will help you, okay? When you get more used to candlestick, getting those hips up there, now that your hips are up, you just gotta get the arms there, feet down, and roll them. Okay? That's going to be your back roll. That is your basic exotic roll. Once you feel comfortable with those, you can go on to a different variation, which I'll show just really briefly for those of you interested. So that's your basic back roll. If you would like to do a half fish flop, you're going to put down one foot and the other foot goes in the air, right? So I'll show you what that looks like. That is your half fish flop, okay? So you do your back roll. For me, since I roll over my right shoulder, I like to put my right leg down, and then my left leg is going up. So I roll back, I put down the right leg, and I point this leg up into the air, and then I keep sliding and bend. That is your half fish flop, okay? For your full fish flop, you have both legs go in the air, okay? For this one, you're going to roll back, legs go up, arch, and roll, okay? That one, you really need that shooting motion to get the hips up in the air, okay? Because if you don't get the hips up enough in the air, you're not gonna roll over and you're gonna kind of plop on your stomach, and that's not fun. I've done it, you don't need to try it, okay? So if you are practicing fish flop, just a couple of tips. You want to make sure that you're try practicing holding that shoulder stand, okay? So when you roll back, we've got our hands ready. We're getting the hips up. Turn your head to the side. Whoop. See, it's a little challenging. Roll your hips up and practice holding it on the shoulder. This. There it is. Okay. So you see how I'm balancing here? Now all I need to do is roll over and arch. So I'm rolling over my shoulder, I arch, and then I roll down. Okay? You don't need to practice holding that shoulder stand for as long as I did. Just kind of practice holding that for a second because it will get your hips up. And then when you are in that pose for a moment, you need to arch to roll down so that way you roll evenly down onto your stomach and you won't just land flat and plop. Okay? So that was my brief description of a forward roll and a few different kinds of back rolls. Let me know if you guys have any other questions, and I hope you enjoy. Bye.